Okay, let's talk about when I first came to Japan and met with the boys for the first time. And by the boys, I mean Ravanis. I think the first person that I met in Ravanis was actually Nayu to Umbridge. We went and I think, what was the first thing? I wanted to get a haircut in Japan, but it's been quite a long while since I spoke Japanese. So I was afraid that I would forget. So I asked Nayu if he had the time to help me go to a haircut store to get me a haircut, and he helped me with that. I'm very appreciative, and it turned out really nice. Imagine you told the barber to make you bald. Okay, Hacha. Like, so Nayu was the first person I met. Then the other boys came, we all had like a nice huddle. We're like, oh, I'm this, I'm this person, I'm that person. And that was when Ravanis was formed. You guys want to hear my first impressions? Is that an interesting thing? Maybe you guys want to hear my first impressions of Ravanis for now? Okay, yeah, sounds fun. Yes, whoa, okay, so excited. Alright, you guys are cute. So, when I saw Nayu, I'm the type of person, when I meet people for the first time, I'm very socially anxious. Like, I have my guard up super high. It's not that I can't communicate, but I'm like kind of a different person. I think a lot of people can understand. Like, I act a lot more fake, if that makes sense. Like, if I were to like roleplay, I'll be like, oh, hi, my name's MalimCendari, nice to meet you. Yeah, I'm this, I'm that. Yeah, I do this. Yeah. No problem, something like that, right? I have like this predisposed like personality. You're so cool though. You. No, you. Scripted NPC lines. Yeah, I do. I have this like I load in this personality. Like I become Nyx Voltaire, you know. I load in my personality so I can survive. Up in your friendliness, yeah. But I feel like I'm really fake. But I think people can understand because first impressions, you know. But Nayu was so chill. Nayu was like, hi, nice to meet you. And then we hugged. I really like that. Thank you. Nayu was so chill, and he instantly made me feel really comfortable. Like, he was just in it. He knew what he had, that like directness to him. Yeah, he does. He's like if I was like a fake person, he was the complete opposite. He had his whole truth, I feel like, on his sleeve, and I was like, oh, okay, this is a person that I can also be truthful to, because he's being truthful to me, if that makes sense. So I dropped that really fast. I was having pimples because of the new weather environment, and I was starting to like, my skin's not used to it. And then I didn't know like where to get pimple patches, but now he was like, oh, I have some. So he shared me with his remaining pimple patches, and I used it and it helped. He's definitely the mature one. Yeah, the entire time when Avallum was hanging out and having fun, Nayu was like being our shining light, our savior. The subways and stuff are like confusing, right? He would go around and help us. Like, okay, we're gonna do this, you gotta buy that ticket, come here, come to this platform, everyone stand here. I like when people take control, take the lead. So I'm just like following them, and I could be like, ooh, focus on the fun stuff. I was the kindergarten teacher, yeah, honestly, yeah. Who did I meet next? I think I met Nyx. I think Nyx was the first one to arrive. Nyx was with Avallum already, so he had a bit more time to spend with them. But you know, first meeting, I didn't know who was who, so I like wouldn't introduce myself until somebody asked me. And I feel like maybe that was rude, but I was too scared to just go up and say, hi, my name is Malim, who are you? Because I feel like asking who are you is such a weird, I don't know, I feel like I should have just known who they were. Like, why do I have to ask that question? I don't know why, I just, in my mind, I think it was rude, maybe, but like at the same time, maybe it was rude to just not introduce myself, because I would just sit there in the corner and be like staring at people until somebody else, I think actually Gale Senpai was the one who reached out to me, one of the like, because I would just sit there, and then Gale's like, oh, by the way, we haven't introduced, I just realized my name is Gale, well, who are you? And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm Malim. And then I was like, oh, thank God he asked me. I've known of Avallum since the first auditions that came out. I knew of them. So I've been here for a long time in this community, I guess, as a shadow. I know of their voices, you know, well enough. But like, if I make a mistake, I would have been so embarrassed. If I went to like Lucy and I was like, are you Gale? Oh my God, I can imagine the looks. I would have been dead. Like, maybe they'll make it light fun, but like, imagine if like I confused Lucy with Gale, right? And then like when Ravanis comes out, Lucy would probably be like, this guy thought I was Gale. Never live it down. I would have been dead. They probably pretend. Actually, yeah, Lucy's a chronological liar. That's my first impression. He's a chronological liar with Cass. Cass Senpai gets like towed in with his antics. You know what I mean? Like I think at one point I was asking about like who is who chronically. Oh yeah, you're right. Make a scenario. I was like, is this person Cass? And then Lucy would be like, no, that's Roscoe or something, for example. And I would believe him because it was our first time meeting. So like, of course I'm gonna believe what he says. I put trust in people, and it turns out not to be true. And I'm like, oh come on. But that's my first impression of him. Now I don't trust him on anything. Like yeah, if Lucy said, oh yeah, Gail's Roscoe, Cass would be like, yeah, Gail's Roscoe. And I'll be like, oh, okay, well, if 2 people said it was, it must be true. Gaslighting, that's amazing. That's awesome. They'll tell me later, like, no, we were just messing with you. And I'm like, oh my god. Oh my god. This is Cass's first impression. I didn't know, like, how to think of Cass. Cass, at first, was very hard for me to, like, pinpoint his emotions, if that makes sense. I think maybe he was also maybe shy. I don't know. I actually don't know, because I was shy. Honestly, we were very silent. We were super silent together. Cass is so stoic. I feel that, yeah. Well, not when we were on together, one-on-one, but when we were together one-on-one, it was a different story. But that wasn't the first impression, right? So, for the first impression, yes, we were very silent together. And I didn't know if, like, I was like, this guy like me? This guy like me? I don't know. I'm scared. But I find it at the same time nice because we could just share in a quiet environment together. And like, as time passes, I find out later that he's totally chill. He's totally cool with it, you know? Zanny, it was honestly like in the same way, similar to Nayu. I feel like they were both very like, they know what they want kind of, and they know what they're doing. I don't know if like that's the right words. For me, when I view them, my impression wise, they both like have a vision, if that makes sense. I can tell like they have assertive, maybe. Like they both have this sort of like idea in their heads that they're going towards. They have a path that they're going on, if that makes sense. And they're very adamant about going on that path that they chose for themselves. Very admirable. They have their own objectives. Both confident. Yes, these are very good objectives. You guys are way better at it than me. Adjectives. Yes. I thought Zanny was the most, how do I say, powerful? Is that the right word? Like, it goes back to the presence thing again. He has a strong presence. But like, when you actually get to talk to him, I had a lot of good memories with everyone. And for Zanny, I have one good memory is that we were at breakfast. We were eating together with everyone, and he would talk about like his experience and stuff, like especially being an FSP member. And I would love hearing him. I love to hear him talk about it because he has such a like strong opinion, if that makes sense. And I really love hearing it. He's a great Zatsu, like, you know, so hearing that in person, awesome time. And it's so funny too, because it wasn't that just one time that I was listening to his stories, right? There was many times, and I would always love hearing it, and it's so fun to hear. And I would get like hyped with him. Is he intimidating at first sight? Honestly, no. I don't think so. I don't think he was intimidating. Who's the most intimidating member? Let me think. It might have been Cass. But I knew at the time, I think it was probably because of jet lag. Everyone was like a little bit like, dead inside. So yeah, that's where the stoicism, I think, that Gail Senpai was talking. Is Cass terrifying? No. Cass isn't terrifying. Nobody is terrifying. But if I were to pinpoint like one person that was like, had a bubble and I would not want to intrude in that bubble, I feel like it was Cass for me. I bet Gale was intimidating. Oh, he's like the far least from intimidation. I don't know, probably like the least intimidating. Gale was like right there at it from the start. Gale Senpai. Hey, I'm scary. And that leaves one more Avallum member, Roscoe. And I'm not gonna talk about him because I'm not that guy. So moving on. Let's go back to Nyx. Nyx, Voltaire, Cyborg of FSPEN. What do I think? I think Nyx was very similar to Gale in a way that they were both like on top of it, energetic, having fun in the moment. Yeah, that's kind of funny, huh? I think Nayu and Zanny are similar. Nyx and Gale are similar. Is anybody else similar? Maybe that's it. Who am I similar with? That's a tough question. I don't know. How will I like define that? I feel like I'm the type of person that changes personality a little bit depending on who I'm with. Because it's probably obvious, but like the way, like for example, that I interact with Ravanis versus the way I interact with Roscoe, for example, is two different things. How upbeat is Rizor? I actually would not describe him as upbeat. upbeat person. He's leaning, how do I say this? He's super happy. I don't know, like, I don't know how to explain it. I want to say like upbeat in the traditional sense, but he's happy and that makes it feel upbeat, if that makes sense. Maybe in psychology, we call that masking. Optimistic. He seems way chill, vibey, and cool. Yes, that's actually how I would. Cheerful. Yes. He's not upbeat in the sense like he's like, you know, physically like inviting in this space, physically like there, like, you know. That's what I think when I hear upbeat. But he's like optimistic, cheerful. That's definitely a bit more positive. Yeah. Joyous and whimsical. Ooh, that's a good one. My pace is how I felt from Riser. I also agree. He totally has like, oh my gosh, you know, isn't there this like dragon Pokemon? Like the grandpa dragon Pokemon, Drampa. Isn't it like the whole point of that was they just do what they want to do and they have fun with it or something? I don't know. That's how I felt from Riser. He's the most, I want to hug him like a teddy bear. He's a big teddy bear. And it's just such a vibe being with him. I feel like he makes me feel super safe. I feel like I could just let him do anything and it would be fine. Like, you know, like if he takes the reins, I know I'm in good hands, if that makes sense. Yeah, he's a big teddy bear. So that's my first impression. Oh, yeah, actually, funny story. This is not meeting them. This was just like my preconceived notions of who is who, right? Like I haven't heard them talk. I've never spoke to them. I never met them. I just knew of them beforehand. And Riser was actually the one that scared me the most. So like this is way before I knew anything about them, right? At all. Way before I talked. Way before I like had any semblance of their personality. I didn't know anything. Riser was the one that scared me the most. Scary Dino? Yeah, exactly. Right? I make like my own ideas of who Ravanis is, right? Riser I thought would be the most scary, but the millisecond that I got to hear his voice and hear him talk, boom, that just like fucking went away, crashed immediately. Alta seems like a chill sweetheart. Yes, I agree, but I was thinking my first impression, and the reason why I paused because you guys know he likes to work out, right? Everyone knows Altus likes to work out, so he has the body, and I still remember it to this day. That's all I'm gonna say. He makes me want to be a better me. Do you guys know the compression shirt? Like, you guys know what that does to a person with a body? So. Let's just say, wow, that's my first impression, sorry. And you know what he was like? He said like, oh, you know, I didn't work out that long, in a while because I was busy, whatever. But I was like, that's you not working out for a while? Everyone is so true to themselves. And I love that. And, and I'm really appreciative to the Manisans for you know, of course picking me, but also picking everyone else, like to form FSP and